So it can be very profitable. It can also be an economic disaster. You really do have to be able to reach that scale of the economy. One of the real pros to wholesale markets is this ability to co-market. And I find this really fascinating because when I listen to most speakers talk about wholesale markets and personalities, they say, well, if you don't have good social skills and don't know how to have relationships very well, you shouldn't sell at a roadside stand, you should sell wholesale. And I think that's the worst advice in the world. I'm going to tell you the opposite. Because when you have that wholesale relationship, you got this one relationship that might be serving 10,000 people. You don't know how to have a relationship with someone, you blow that relationship, you just lost 10,000 customers. So, you know, they talk about how if you wholesale, you don't have to do the market, it saves you the marketing. Well, yeah, but then you're going to be fungible, you're going to be replaceable. So I'm encouraging you, if you enter the wholesale markets, to be a co-marketer. To be thinking about not just that person that you might be actually making a sale to, and that's the beauty of wholesale markets. You pick up the phone, hi, oh, $10,000 worth of product, no problem. And you just sold a lot of product with one phone call. But you still have to think about all those people that that wholesaler is serving, and those are your real customers. Because that's who you really have to make happy. And you want to, if you can find a way to stay in relationship with those customers. So when people talk about wholesale, they'll talk about how you lose this direct market relationship that you have at your farmer's market or your CSA. But if you can find a way to keep that direct market relationship through the wholesale, that's where the profitability comes in, because you get all those benefits of a direct market with the efficiency of the wholesale market. So you see how, you can look at anything and find pros and cons, but you've got to make it match really well for you. This is actually what I think is the hardest thing about wholesale markets. I backed up to this loading dock, I had my truck, I was ready to unload it. I couldn't go up to the dock because these tomatoes had spilled. I got out, took a picture, because I never miss a chance to get a picture. Well, the guy was standing there picking them off, the dock guy. I said, what are you going to do with those? I thought he was going to say, like, the food shelf. Or maybe there's this guy that drives around with he's got hogs and he takes all the food home. He said, oh, they're fine, I'm going to ship them. I wouldn't want my name on those tomatoes if they fell on the ground and got bruised. And so when you sell in the wholesale market, when the product leaves your hands, you don't have any control about it after that. So when I talk about wholesale markets, I just want to really emphasize that you need to research your buyers. And you have to think of them as partners. And this is the whole co-marketing kind of concept, is that you want to walk through their stores or their warehouses or their restaurants. If your name's going to be on the product, do they know how to handle it? Do they know how to market it? Are they going to do a good job with your product? Are you going to be embarrassed? Is it going to really reflect badly on you? You really want to think of these people as relationships, as partners. And this word relationship, it gets bandied about really a lot now. It's become kind of a popular word. I remember when I first heard about relationship marketing, I went, oh, what's that? I want to learn about that. And then I did, I went, oh, that's what we're doing. Wow, that worked out really well. But you want to really be thinking about these relationships that are just so fundamental, and you're building them, not just with the produce buyer, but with the manager of that business, with the chef, with those customers, as I mentioned, everyone that needs some. When we look at what does it really take to get into these markets, first of all, they're doing you a favor, because it's a lot more work to buy from a bunch of local farmers. They can pick up a phone, call Broker House, and get every single thing they want with one phone call. So why would they want to call 20 different farmers at different times who aren't going to serve them right? You can see that this is really one of the bigger barriers. And that lack of coordination. So always be thinking about how you can make it easy for them to buy from you. You always want to be thinking in that way so that you'll be successful. Something like, in my market, there were 4 wholesalers that served the same stores we served. We served direct to the grocery stores. And even when I didn't have enough product for the wholesalers, I sent them my product availability list so that they knew what I was doing. So that I wasn't like coming into those stores, what they thought they were going into those stores, and then they would end up with too much product, etc. So this communication, we all started to think of ourselves as a system. You hear all the time about food systems and what's a food system, but we're the producers, and then there's the retailers, and there's the distributors, distributors, and there's the eaters, they're a real important part of the system. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be farming. And when you're doing this direct market, you're filling a lot of these roles. You're doing the processing, you're storing, you're doing all the marketing. And when you wholesale, sometimes you can skip some of those, but you still are part of the system, and you all really have to work together. And that's not happening enough at all in almost every market I go to. I talk about marketing now nationally, and everywhere I go, it's like, oh yeah, I never really thought about that fact. And so there's all of you different growers out here, you all have different strengths. And if you think about what do I do different and better than the other people in my community, you can all start to find that niche so that there's room for all of you. Think of that California product, that's your competition, not each other. You guys are a team, and I found in our community, the more of us there were, the stronger we got. Because when I served someone and made them happy, that just made more people aware of it, and then they went and looked for a farmer like that in their own community. So it made it this growing thing. But the biggest thing I hear from wholesale buyers, why don't they want to buy local food, is it doesn't last as long. That's what I hear again and again and again. And you know what? It's actually true. And it's not because it's local. And they'll tell me that. It comes in warm, it doesn't hold up, and you have to have good post-harvest handling. You have to have good cold management. The hardest store I ever approached was when Whole Foods came to Minneapolis. It was the first Whole Foods in Minneapolis, 1995. And the buyer was from Chicago, from this mafia Italian, the wholesale market down there, downtown kind of guy. And I wasn't getting anywhere with him. He was just not interested. He said, it comes in warm, it's not going to hold up. And I finally said, listen, you don't know me, you don't know my product. I will ship you $500 worth of product. Here's my order sheet, you order anything you want, and you don't have to pay for it unless you want more. And then if you want more, send me a check and we'll do business. And I had to prove it to him, because he just had this real attitude that local food wouldn't hold up. So it's one area that we really have to prove, and I did. 3 days later, he mailed a check, and I had a great relationship there. But sometimes we have to prove that, make sure we know how to handle our food, make sure we know what quality is. That component of quality is going to be such a crucial part of being able to make this change.